Welcome back to Tech Pulse, your go-to show where we break down the latest breakthroughs in science and technology, making them not just digestible, but actually exciting. I'm Zaper.
And I'm Puck, your curious sidekick, the guy who asks the questions you're probably already thinking, so you don't have to. Hey, quick reminder before we dive in. Hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and maybe share this episode with your favorite aviation geek. Trust me, today's story is one they'll want to hear.
Today's headline is a big one. Dubai students create an AI airbag system for plane crashes. So this isn't about preventing crashes. That's already a whole industry of its own. This is about survival after a crash becomes inevitable.
Wait, hang on. Did you just say airbags for planes? Like the same thing in cars, but strapped onto a Boeing or Airbus?
Kind of. It's called Project REBIRTH. Imagine giant airbags deploying from the nose, belly, and tail of the plane in under 2 seconds, basically wrapping the fuselage in a protective cocoon to absorb the impact.
Wow. Okay, before we get too far, let's define some jargon. Fuselage is just the main body of the aircraft, right? The part where we sit?
Exactly. And retrofit, you'll hear that word later, means installing new tech into existing planes rather than only future ones.
Got it. And when we say AI system, we're talking about software that's constantly monitoring flight data, like altitude, speed, direction, engine health, and making split-second calls when something looks catastrophic.
The tragic spark for this came from the Air India Flight 171 crash in June 2025. It was a Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner that crashed just 32 seconds after takeoff from Ahmedabad.
I remember that one. It killed 241 people, right? And only one person survived?
Yes, the survivor was a 40-year-old British passenger in seat 11A who managed to escape through a broken emergency exit before the explosion.
That's wild. So the students behind Project REBIRTH, Eshel Wasim and Dharsan Srinivasan, both from BITS Dubai, were deeply moved by that crash.
Right. Eshel even said his mom couldn't sleep afterward, just imagining the fear passengers must have felt knowing there was no way out. That emotional punch became their motivation.
All right, let's geek out a little. How does the system actually work?
So here's the sequence. The AI continuously monitors flight parameters. If it determines a crash is inevitable below 3,000 feet, it triggers safety protocols, unless the pilot overrides. External airbags deploy in under 2 seconds around the plane. These airbags reduce crash forces by more than 60% in simulations.
That's massive, 60%. That could mean the difference between total loss and survivability.
And it's not just airbags. They've layered in other innovations. Reverse thrust, if the engines are still alive, slows descent. Gas thrusters, if engines are gone, cut descent speed by 8 to 20%. Non-Newtonian fluids inside walls in seats, soft when normal, hard as rock on impact to shield passengers.
Okay, wait, pause. Non-Newtonian fluids? That sounds like a villain in a Marvel movie.
Yeah, right? But you've seen one. It's basically cornstarch and water. When you punch it, it hardens instantly. That same principle is applied here. Seats that stay comfy during flight but become armor in a crash.
Mind blown.
Now, here's where it gets excited. Project REBIRTH is a finalist for the James Dyson Award 2025. That's a global recognition for student inventors with world-changing ideas.
And the prize is...
Over $40,000 in funding if they win.
That's no joke. 40 grand to take this from prototype to hopefully something airlines might actually adopt?
Their vision is to retrofit existing planes or integrate into new builds. They're planning to work with aerospace labs for crash sled testing and wind tunnel trials. The goal? Have this tested, approved, and flying within 5 years.
And honestly, even if they don't win, the fact that they've put survivability, not just prevention, into the aviation safety conversation is a breakthrough.
Here's my skeptical side. Airlines are already super cautious about adding weight, costs, maintenance. Do you think this has a real shot at being used?
That's fair. Weight is a concern. Airbags and thrusters aren't light. But if survival rates jump dramatically, regulators and manufacturers may be compelled. It's also a PR boost for airlines that adopt it.
True. Imagine the headline: Airline X equips fleet with AI crash airbags. That's consumer trust right there.
And with crashes, the stakes aren't just lives. It's also billions in lawsuits, brand damage, and regulatory scrutiny. So the cost-benefit could actually favor adoption.
So in a way, these students tapped into not just humanitarian impact, but also business logic.
What I love most is that their motivation wasn't recognition. They said, this competition is our first step, not for recognition, but with the hope it may save lives when else fails.
That's powerful. And honestly, it feels like aviation needs a fresh angle. Prevention will always be the holy grail, but survivability, that's the missing piece.
Exactly. And whether or not Project Rebirth flies, pun intended, it's pushing the industry to think differently.
Couldn't resist, huh?
Couldn't have to.
So, to wrap this up, two students in Dubai are reimagining what crash survival could look like. With AI, airbags, and material science, they might just change aviation safety forever.
And we'll keep tracking it for you here at Tech Pulse. If you enjoyed today's episode, hit like, drop a comment with your thoughts. Would you feel safer flying in a plane wrapped in airbags? And of course, subscribe so you never miss a peek into the future.
I'm Zaper.
And I'm Puck. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time on Tech Pulse.